Okay, so now we're looking at Watch Dogs 2. This game was released in 2016, and despite receiving positive reviews, with many critics and gamers considering it to be an improvement over its predecessor, it fell short of commercial expectations, mainly due to its undercooked marketing, the reputation of the first game, as well as stiff competition from other games such as Titanfall 2 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I got a hold of this game around early 2018, and I've got to say, this was a big step up from the first one. It fixed almost every single issue I had with the original Watch Dogs and even brought some new ideas to the table. So the game takes place in the San Francisco Bay Area, and in case you're wondering, yes, the Golden Gate Bridge is in fact featured in the game and you will be able to drive across it. The graphics are much better this time around, with a stronger emphasis being on vibrance and saturation, resulting in a more colorful aesthetic compared to the first game. The hacking is far more fleshed out in this game. You can manipulate the information of an NPC to have them arrested or attacked by one of the local gangs. You can carry out mass hacks, which involves hacking the electronic equipment of multiple people at once. Some items have multiple hacking options, so you can hack into literally any vehicle and dictate which direction it steers in. Forward, backward, left or right. Plus, there's also 2 new items that come with their very own hacking capabilities, but I'll get to that in a second. Not only is the smartphone used for hacking in this game, but it allows you to download several apps if you're interested. There's some cool emotes you can mess around with, whether you want to get people's attention or potentially piss them off. And if taking selfies is your thing, well, the smartphone will let you do that too. Some noteworthy additions to the franchise through this game include an RC car and a drone, both of which have hacking capabilities. The dynamics of the game's combat is very different from that of the first game. In an effort to balance out combat with hacking, you're only allowed to use 2 weapons at a time, though you can also use explosives like mines, and you can also perform melee attacks using a bullet ball that's tied to a bungee cord. This feature also goes hand in hand with the game's stealth mechanics, which work far better in this game than in its predecessor. Non-lethal takedowns can be performed by means of a taser, and you can now also fire weapons from vehicles. Customization has also been improved. There are multiple different stores that have different types of clothes, and you'll be able to customize every single aspect of your attire, whether it be hats, shirts, shorts, jeans, shoes, etc. And don't be afraid to give your gadgetry, whether it be your guns, your RC car, or your drone, a new paint job every once in a while. Out of all 3 games in the Watch Dogs trilogy, Watch Dogs 2 has the best story, as it has to do with DedSec attempting to expose a conspiracy within the tech company Bloom. It's really the team dynamic between the members of DedSec and the timely themes of data surveillance and corporate greed that make it so effective. The main character is Marcus Holloway, a young hacker who is initiated into DedSec after being criminally flagged by Bloom's CTOS system for a crime that he did not commit. And his overall optimism goes hand in hand with the game's lighter tone. Out of all the side characters, my favorite one is definitely Wrench, who I'm sure everyone can agree steals the show. Wrench has a wild and humorous personality, and he wears an electronic mask that serves as his means of expressing his emotions. The game's overall structure is a little different this time. You know, the first game had the main missions and the side activities, but in Watch Dogs 2, you have the main missions, which focus on the main storyline, the side missions, which focus on various subplots and side characters, and of course the side activities are available if you'd like to explore the game's world a bit more. And to be honest, the 2 major gripes I've always had with Watch Dogs 2 are in the overall structure of the main and side missions, and the complete change up in side activities. The main and side missions do have some degree of variety to them, and you can approach them in different ways, whether it be sneaking in on foot, resorting to your RC car or your drone, or taking the aggressive route and using your firearms. The problem is that most of the missions have the exact same layout. You know, you'll have to drive to a specific location, either to rescue somebody or acquire some kind of item, or you'll need to hack some kind of database. And you'll have to deal with security guards or gang members or police officers, etc. And don't get me wrong, the missions themselves are fun, but at some point you'll begin to see the cracks through the core formula. Meanwhile, the side activities comprise of things like e-kart racing, motocrossing, quad bike racing, drone racing, and even sailboat racing if that's your thing. I honestly would have liked a bit more variety in this department. I would have preferred some new digital trips, or maybe a new type of virtual reality game like an endless runner, and maybe you could unlock a new perk or two based on your points. And overall, I don't have any other issues with it, I thoroughly enjoyed myself while playing Watch Dogs 2, and I would highly recommend it if you haven't played it yet. So add this one to your collection because I'm giving it an 8 out of 10.